Brothers and sisters, we welcome Sheikh Yusuf Estes into the auditorium. Takbir! Lord. Takbir! Takbir! Alhamdulillah, all praise be to God Almighty. Brothers and sisters, the topic of tonight's lecture, From Darkness to Light, delivered by our distinguished speaker, international renowned speaker, Sheikh Yusuf Estes, who has taken the trouble to be here with us all the way from the US. For most of us, he does not require an introduction, but for the benefit of those who are meeting him for the first time, let me introduce him to you. Sheikh Yusuf was raised in a strong Christian home. He was educated in Texas, became successful in music business, owning stores, TV shows, and used his talent to promote faith in God while doing some preaching from the Bible. In 1991, he tried to convert a Muslim from Egypt, but he himself found the true facts of Islam and became a Muslim. Alhamdulillah. Since coming to Islam, he has helped thousands of people accepting this faith, even while answering many harsh attacks against Muslims, but just using straight talk, simple humor, and a lot of love, he has won many hearts. He makes it fun and easy for all of us to understand. Sheikh Yusuf served as a delegate to the United Nations Peace Summit for Religious Leaders, and he was the US Federal Chaplain from 94 till the year 2000. People call him the funny Sheikh. Yusuf Estes is loved by children and adults of all faiths. They delight to hear him entertain as he brings the pure message of Islam in simple English terms, and he makes it fun and easy to understand Islam while referring to the Quran and the teachings of Islam. You can hear and see him broadcast his live shows on the internet, in chat rooms, Facebook, and TV channels around the world every day. And he has over 2,000 websites for Islam. With this, I would like to pass the microphone to our distinguished speaker, Sheikh Yusuf Estes.
I'm just going to go over where you were. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, huwa alladhi ja'alna muslimin wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah al-Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I have allergies, and in this time of the year, when the flowers start to come out, sometime I lose my voice. And for the last 2 days, almost no voice at all. So my wife back in California, and I told her, I don't know, maybe I have to cancel my program tonight because I can't talk. But you know what? You have a good wife, she'll push you. Push you. She said, what will you do? I said, what do you mean? What will you do if you cancel the program? I said, well, what do you mean? Oh, just nothing. She said, how much ajr you get for doing nothing? How much payment do you get for if you do nothing? Nothing. She said, well, you just sit there and just sit there and do nothing. So, how hard do you work when you go on the stage? You're not doing anything. You're just talking. So go try. Talk. So alhamdulillah, before we came out, I was taking some, what do you call this? Zenzabil. You know Zenzabil? Like ginger. And eating this. So can you hear me okay? I may have to talk slow and maybe drink some coffee, water, something like that, but she pushed me. We're going to have a program tonight, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Before we start the program, I would like to mention how many of you were with me 10 years ago when I came to here to Malaysia. How many? MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I'm glad to see all of you again. And for those who came at first time tonight, welcome, welcome. Since the last time I was here, so many things happened. We grew and grew. In the United States today, instead of just 500 websites, today we have more than 4,000 websites on the internet. Alhamdulillah. Another thing we have now, how many of you know Dr. Zakir Naik? Anybody knows who I'm talking about? Now the hands go up. There we are. Yeah. Peace TV. So now we have United States Guide Us TV. And it's on the satellite, it's on your phones. If you have a smartphone, they told me, they told me that this app will not work on a dumb phone. You have to have a smartphone. Alhamdulillah. So you get the free app, you can watch it anywhere in the world. Peace TV has, a lot of good things, but Guide Us TV has Quran every hour for 15 minutes, 10 minutes with translation English. They're one of the best for non-Muslims. For non-Muslims, this, they told me, is one of the best channels. So, alhamdulillah, I want to tell you about that. So this, good things. And every day that we learn something for this deen is a good day. But any day we don't learn something good for this day, for this deen, is a bad day. So I try every day to learn something new, something beneficial for me and for the people I talk to. So hopefully I can do better this time than 10 years ago. I had 10 years to learn something new, yeah? Alhamdulillah, so we're all of us growing closer to Allah every day, inshallah. And also I'd just like to mention, I love the way you guys have grown in your dawah. Through the efforts of your team, IPSI has now reached fame around the world. Everybody knows what you guys are doing in Malaysia. So usually People say, oh, let's welcome Yusuf and give a big hand, or they welcome so-and-so. But I want to give a big hand for all of you guys, because you did something amazing. Allahu Akbar. This is for you. And under the direction of Karamuddin and his brothers working with him, and the sisters, actually, I found a lot of sisters doing amazing work. So for you guys, I have to, before I start the program, I have to say, Jazakumullah khair, for you guys, for the sisters, and for all of you, because without you, I wouldn't even be standing here right now. So Allah made everything possible, but you guys did a lot of good work. Thank you so much. Now with that, we get started. How's that? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. هو الذي جعل المسلمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجونهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياءهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. In this short ayah, two ayahs right after Ayatul Kursi, Allah is telling us about the nur of Islam, the light of Islam. What is the light of Islam? Who has this light? Who doesn't have it? And why? So, a little bit of translation to English. Allah is telling us that He is the wali to the true believer. The wali is not a friend. Most translations say friend. Wali is much, much more than just a friend. When a lady gets married in Islam, does she need wali, yes or no? And by the way, I have a microphone, you don't, so I need to really hear you say it. Does the lady need wali when she gets married? Yes. It's not just a friend. She doesn't just call up somebody, let me look through my book. Maybe, sister, are you busy? Can you be my friend? I'm getting married. No way. No way. Who is usually the wali for the lady? Who? The father. Can you imagine saying, oh, I want you to meet my friend, he's also my father? But it sounds stupid. It's much more than just a friend. This is somebody, as a wali for a marriage, this is somebody who is protecting the interests, the best interests of his daughter. He is responsible to be sure she gets a good marriage to a good person, and then he's going to be responsible to be sure that she gets her rights. And if there's any difficulty, he's going to be there to protect her and help her on her side. Is that true or false? True? Yes? Wali, protector, guardian, and someone looking out for your best interests, guiding you to the best way. Now, does that describe Allah? Yes, For who? Mu'minun. The true believer. So Allah, He is the wali for the true believer. And then look what it says. Khuruj means to go out. Khuruj. This is the word being used in Quran. Allah ukhrij. Allah is taking them from what? Bulumati. Out of the darkness, out of the wrong way, out of the wrongdoing, and putting them into the nur. Light, pure, and understanding what's going on. Close your eyes, please, right now. Close your eyes just for a minute. Close your eyes and think, if I am like this all the time, I'm missing everything. So much I'm missing, right? Now open your eyes and look around and think, wow, how much is it to be able to see? Allah gave you eyes. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But how much can you see if you don't have any light? Your eyes are open, but you can't see. There's no light. So look how perfect is the word nur. Taking people out of this depths of the darkness of ignorance and foolishness and bringing them to the nur. But then he continued, and then he's talking about the people who purposely, knowingly choose the wrong way. He said these people are choosing. They're choosing false gods. Tagut. Tagut. The wrong way. The wrong gods. The people who make this choice, Allah tells us about them in 2 more surahs. If you go to Surah An-Nisa, the women, chapter 4, verse 48, very clear. Allah tells us there. He says, I do not forgive shirk. What is shirk? Partnership. What's wrong with being in a partnership? Many people in business are in partnership. A marriage is a partnership. What's wrong with a partnership? Allah said, I don't forgive shirk. Shirk is making a partner with Allah. The same exact first commandment in Islam is the same exact first commandment for the Nasrani, the Christian. When they asked Jesus alayhi salam, what is the greatest commandment? Look what he said. So many people think the greatest commandment is thou shalt not kill. No. No, no. That's commandment number 5 out of 10. There's a lot before you get to that one. The number 1, it says that Jesus said in the Bible, it said that he said, the greatest commandment is to know, O Israel. Look who he's talking to. Look who he's talking to. The Jews who are converting to his way. His way meaning the deen. Deen means way, by the way. If you didn't know that, he was saying way. Converting to the way. The way of al-Islam. To know, O Israel, the Lord your God is one Lord. And him you have to worship with all your heart, all your mind, all your strength, your spirit, everything in worship, ibadah, and love only for Allah. And a commandment like it, to love your brother as yourself. For the Christian, they should love to hear this message coming from Islam. What about the Jewish? What about the Old Testament? And let's look at the book of Exodus, chapter 20, the very beginning. It says that God is speaking to them, Allah talking to them. I am the Lord, your God, who brought you out of the land of Misr, Egypt, the house of bondage, out of slavery. You don't know any other God except me. You shall not have any other God beside me. So this is the continuity, the continuation of the same message with Adam, with Abraham, with Moses, with David, with Suleiman, with John the Baptist, with Jesus the Christ, and with Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Don't make partners with Allah. Simple as that. Alhamdulillah. So we find, now here Allah is saying, these people who take tagut, they take tagut, false gods, along with Allah. He said, and the tagut is what's taking them from the nur to the zulumat, the darkness. And they are the ashab, the companions of the hellfire, taking them to the nari jahannam, na'udhu billah. And they will remain therein forever. The purpose of the human being is mentioned in Quran, in chapter 51, verse 56. Allah said that He did not create jinn and mankind except for worship. Now, this is amazing. Because when Allah is saying this, some people might say, well, what about the people that worship a rat, or a snake, or a dog, or the sun, or the moon, or the stars? They're doing what they're created to do. Exactly true. They are doing what they were created to do. They're worshiping something, but don't forget the verse. Don't forget the verse. That you must worship, you choose to worship Allah alone, without any partners. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And what does He mean? To worship Him. But you have a choice. He doesn't force you. If He forced you, there'd be no purpose of this life. It's zero. He didn't force you. In fact, He made sure you know. In the verse before all of that I read to you, the very verse right after Ayatul Kursi, what's the very first thing that comes right after Wasi'a Kursiyuhu samawati wal ard wala ya'uduhu hifdhuhuma wa huwal aliyyul azim? That's the end of Ayatul Kursi. The very first word, La ikraha fiddin. Allah does not force anybody to accept this deen. You choose what you want. It's your choice. I said all of this to set up the tone for you to understand where my mind was 27 years ago when my father came to me and he said, "Son, we're going to start doing business with a man from Egypt." I was like, wow, that's great. Pyramids, Nile River, Cleopatra. I could just imagine the things that we're going to have on our stationery, business cards, envelopes, and just the whole promotional thing. International, Egypt, wow, man, that's going to be cool. Then he said, oh, and he's a Muslim. What? A Muslim? No. No way. I don't want to do business with this guy. My father said, why? I said, Dad, you know, we watched the TV, the 700 Club, and the different ones that have on there, you know, they're saying that these people, these Muslims, they don't believe in God. They worship a black box in the desert. And they kiss the ground 5 times a day. No way. My father said, you're going to meet him. Okay. But it has to be on my terms. What's your terms? First, it has to be Sunday, the Lord's Day. Second, I want to come straight from the church, no food, fasting for 1 or 2 whole hours, you know. Then, I need to have my cross, the salib, you know, and my Bible, and my hat that said, Jesus is Lord. So this was the condition, and this is how I met the Muslim. So I went into my father's shop on Sunday after church, wearing my cross, carrying my Bible, and had my hat, Jesus is Lord. I walk in, and I'm looking for him. Now everybody knows what Muslims look like. They have long beards, they have this long dress. Well, some of them do anyway. They have one eyebrow that goes all the way across. They wear a big turban on their heads, and they carry a big sword. I know. I saw the cartoons. Oh, and they're real fat. I know. So when I went in to the shop, where is he? Where's the Muslim? My father said, he's right here. This man? He's wearing like this. And like this. Smooth face. And smooth head. No turban, no hair. Bald. You got hair under there? Have a look. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Karamuddin said, no. Keep talking. Well, you used to have a lot of hair. Anyway, so I'm shocked. This is not what I thought Muslim looked like. He put out his hand and he smiled. I didn't know they could smile. I'm shaking his hand. It was warm. I thought maybe like a dead person, you know, cold. So I said, you guys, look at this. Hello, how you doing? You guys, you don't believe in God, do you? What a way to start a conversation, huh? You don't believe in God? He said, yeah, of course we do. No, I mean the God of Adam. He said, yes. You do? Of course. But did you ever hear about Abraham? Now, I have to stop right here to tell you a story, separate story. My friend, who later helped me to Islam, is a direct descendant from Fatima and Ali. Everybody know what that means? Huh? They're called Ahlul Bayt. Even if they're not Shiite, they're still Ahlul Bayt, people of the family, of the house of the Prophet ﷺ. Now imagine. That means we know from genealogy it goes all the way back to Abraham. And I'm asking him, do you know who your grandfather is? Imagine. I didn't know. But he said, yes, we know about Ibrahim. But do you know about the Ten Commandments? Do you know about Moses? Yeah. We believe that. We have to. You know about David and Suleiman? Yes, of course. So to me, I'm thinking, this sounds like Jewish. Well, what about that God that has the 6 arms and the blue skin and the elephant head and the... He said, that's not Islam. I said, no, I mixed it up. But you don't believe in the precious name of Jesus. He said, of course we have to believe in Jesus. But the miracle birth, no father. He said, of course, it's in the Quran. Huh? What? Yes. That's strange. How come nobody told me that? Yeah, but he did miracles. Yes, we have it in the Quran. He even brought a dead person back to life. You know about that? Lazarus? It's in the Quran. Allah pulled him up. He's with Allah, with God, and he'll be back in the last day. He said, yes, we have to believe that, or we can't be a Muslim. Okay. This guy is going to be easy. I will convert him to be a Christian. I know what I'm doing. So this is how it began. Even though he just revealed so much to me, look at the brain. The brain is still saying, I'm right and he's wrong. Even he agreed with every single thing I said, still not good enough because he has to say he's a Christian. This is the way a lot of people are. No matter what you say, they're not going to be happy with you until you say exactly what they're saying. And even then, maybe they're not going to be happy with you. The next thing happened, I told my father, Dad, I can convert this guy to Christian. My father said, leave him alone. He has his way, we have our way. Let him go. Lakum dinakum waliya din. But I was determined, no, I will convert this man. So we started traveling together, working together, staying together, even invite him to live in our house with us. So he lived with us, ate with us, stayed with us, worked alongside of me in all the places we went, traveled together, everything. Day after day after day after day. Even when we would go to church, we'll tell him we have some picnic tonight at the church, fireworks, 4th of July, go with us. He would go. But when it was time for him to do salah, he would say, excuse me, and go do his salah. When he wanted to fast, he's going to go fasting, all day, no food, no drink, nothing. And always when time to do salah, he stops. Doesn't matter where we are, he's going to pray. I admire that. By the way, anybody dedicated to their religion is good. I like that. Because they're doing what people should do, worshiping God. This is what they're created to do. But then something. I noticed some strange things that I never saw before. In business, everybody likes to make a profit. And that's why you're in business. And one of the things we dealt with was what's called salvage. Salvage is stuff that you buy out in big inventories. You take whatever you can get. Part of the salvage was pharmaceutical products that have expiration dates. Expiration date could be 3 days from now. You better hurry up and sell it. Or it could be 2 weeks from now or a month from now. So we always put the expiration things that almost expire in the very front. But I noticed that every time people would come in, he'll reach to the back and give them the products. The one that had the longest expiration date. And finally, I realized it's not an accident. He's doing that on purpose. So I took him aside. I said, what are you doing? He said, we're selling a lot of products. I said, I know we're selling a lot, but you're selling the stuff on the back, man. Grab the stuff off the front. By the way, you girls, you know this, because you shop in the stores. All the stores in the front, they put the stuff they want to get rid of first. Is that right? Yeah. Everybody knows that. So why are you reaching in the back? He said, my religion teaches me this. You give the people the best that you have. What kind of religion is that? So, okay, let it slide, because we always sell it anyway. I'll sell the stuff on the front. You don't worry about it. But then someone bought a lot of merchandise and paid cash, and the change was not even $1. It was just coins, some coins. The lady, she left it laying on the counter and she went away, and she walked to the parking lot and she's about to drive away. And he saw this change. He grabbed it and he ran out the door, and he's running and running, trying to catch her and tell her, and he stopped the car and she rolled down the window. What's the matter? He said, you left your change. She looked at him like, what? It's just a couple coins. You come out here, it was a very hot sun that day, and look how he's sweating and everything. Here's your change. And when he came back, I said, what happened? He said, the lady forgot her change. I said, it wasn't even 5 cents. Maybe a dime or pennies or something, I don't know. He said, yeah, but I have to give it to her. I said, why? What's the problem? He said, in my religion, you have to do that. I said, what kind of religion is this? Does it have an effect on you like that? And then he began teaching me some ayahs of Quran, translation. And when we would travel, he would say something about the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the more I heard about this, I said, I always had in my mind that this is the way of Jesus. And you're telling me about Muhammad. He said, well, Jesus would have been the same way. A good person doing good things. I said, yeah, I guess. Yeah, of course. SubhanAllah. The more I was thinking about it, I said, I never heard preachers in Christianity showing the benefits of the details. So I can use this too. When I get this man to Christianity, we can really do some good work. In fact, this man, maybe we could make him a saint right from the beginning. Still not seeing the picture, right? Then, a friend of mine has a ministry. He's a preacher. He carries a cross, a great big wooden cross, on top of his truck. It's in pieces. When he gets where he's going, he'll bolt it together. Then he'll drag it down the side of the big freeway on his back, walking along, and people see this man with a cross, they stop. They want to take pictures, you know. They pull out back then we didn't have phones like this, we had cameras, you know. Take pictures, news people come out, video, and take all this. And then he gives out his little miniature Bibles. It only has a few verses, you know, a little small one. This man had a heart attack. He went to the hospital, and I used to like to go visit him. And one day, when I visited him, he has somebody else in the room with him, a man, in a wheelchair. And he said, this man, he doesn't talk much. He just sit there, you know. I said, I got my Bible. I'm going to witness to the man. They call it witness. I'm going to witness to this man. And I'm going to tell him the stories of the Bible. I found this man is very unhappy. He had a heart attack. Maybe his family, some problem. Nobody come to see him. So I said, you know, there's a story in the Bible about a man who also had problems. Who's the man? Jonah in the whale. Yunus in the hook. This is the story we know from Quran, the story they know from the Bible. So I'm telling this man this story and pushing his wheelchair around, you know, and talking. Finally he said, hey, I know what you're doing. I know you're a preacher. And I want to confess something to you. I said, wait. I don't do confessions. I'm not a priest. I'm not Catholic. No confession, okay? He said, I know you're not, because I am. I said, you're a priest? I said, yes. He said, I know the stories front and back. My problem, he's telling me his problem, that for all of the work he's done with the church, not even one person came to visit him. Not even one. He said, and you come here every day to see this pastor. I said, well, I have to tell you something. There's a Muslim living with us. And he told me this is what the prophets used to do. This is what the Muslims do. They like to go visit somebody in the hospital. They like to help people out. And so I feel like I got to show Christianity the right way. So this had an impact on him. When the priest was able to leave the hospital, even though he's Catholic and we're Protestant, nothing connected to it at all. Don't even have the same Bible. One has 66 books, Catholic, 73 books. By the way, we were talking earlier about the different churches. You remember that? You know that there's some churches have 78 books. 78, 73 or 66. Protestant is better. It's only got 66. You cut it down, keep it easy to read, you know. Anyway, so the priest came and he lived with us. And on the way to my house, I'm telling the priest, listen, we can convert this Muslim. You have to help me. He started telling me about Islam. The priest. He said, yes, they have to do salah 5 times a day. I said, how you know that? They fast Ramadan. What? They make a pilgrimage to Mecca instead of Jerusalem. I said, you know all of this? He said, yes. Catholic priest has to study Islam. I said, what? I said, of course. We know all about these religions. We have to know. SubhanAllah. So I'm going to keep the story a little shorter tonight because I'm running out of voice. So the Catholic priest asked my friend the Muslim, can I go to your mosque with you just to see what's going on? He said, sure. I took him to the masjid. They went in the masjid. He spent some time and he came back. When he got back, we took him aside, my dad, and I wanted to know what's going on. I said, are they slaughtering animals in there? Are they making bombs? He said, no. No, he said they line up and they're real quiet. They don't make any noise. Then they bow. They prostrate, sajda. He said, it's beautiful. You feel the peace. He said, I stand in the back and I'm watching this. I'm thinking, oh, this, like the monks of Christianity. I didn't see anything like this before. The next week, the priest went with him again. Only this time he stayed all day, and when he came back, he was wearing the thobe like this, and he had on, where is it? There we go. Like this. And I looked at him and I said, did you become a Muslim? A priest? He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. Subhanallah. I couldn't imagine this. A priest became a Muslim? I wanted to interview him and talk about this. I knew it would be a sensation. I got out our cameras. We used to have a television channel a long time ago for our work. So I put up the cameras and the tripods and the lights. In those days it was a lot of work, and not like with cell phone today. Ping! By the time I set it up, he fell asleep. So I went upstairs to talk to my wife about this. And I'm thinking how I'm going to tell her that I'm interested, for Islam. This is a very religious lady, and it might be a shock. So I started telling her, well, the priest accepted Islam today. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, but, it looks like he really likes that, and it looks like he's, he gave up everything to be a Muslim. So, what do you think? She said, I want a divorce. Huh? She said, I want a divorce. A Muslim cannot be married to a Christian. I said, whoa. I didn't say, did I say I want to be a Muslim? I did not say I was going to be a Muslim. Come on, man. You misunderstood me. Now, I would never be a Muslim. Never. But beside that, if I did, which I won't, a Muslim can be married to a Christian lady. It's just that a Christian man shouldn't be married to a Muslim lady. She said, that's what I'm talking about. I want to be a Muslim. Huh? You want to be? I go, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Good news is exactly what I said. The good news is I too want to be a Muslim. Ta-da! Now I'm expecting she's going to be like, da-da-da, yes, oh, yes. No. She said, I want a divorce. I said, well, wait a minute. If we're both Muslim, what's the problem? She said, because you're a liar. I said, whoa, why did you say that? She said, you're a liar. You are either lying right now. You say you want to be a Muslim, you're lying. Or when you said you would never be a Muslim, so either way you're lying. I want a divorce. Now get out. I was halfway down the stairs before I realized she just kicked me out of my father's house. That's not funny. I went to the Muslim, I woke him up, I said, listen man, we got to talk. So he got up, he went outside with me, we were walking, and we live in the country, okay, big old house country. We're walking, talking. I'm doing the talking, he's doing the walking, you know. And I'm trying to figure out what to say, what to do, how to, man, if I'm a Muslim, what will happen to my relationship with my family, my father, my friends, the people I work with? What about the congregation at the church? What are they going to say? What are they going to do? Finally, he said to me, this is not about you and your congregation at the church, or you and your people at work, or you and your friends, or you and your family, or you and your father. This is about you and him. Go talk to him. Huh? I'm expecting he's going to try to give me, like, sales pitch. Try to, you have to be a Muslim or you're going to go to hell forever. No, he didn't say that. This is your relationship with your Lord. Go talk to him. I never imagined this from him, because I'm trying to convert him to be a Christian. Openly, I tried many times. And he's telling me, just go talk to Allah. So I did. I went behind my father's house. I found a place, to spread out. I'd seen the Muslim facing toward Qibla. I figured kind of like this, And then he did all these things. But all I could remember, head on the ground. His head on the ground. So this is what I did. I put my head on the ground. And I just said, God, guide me. That's it. Guide me. When the heart opens up and the brain becomes clear, you realize this is why you're here. You're here in this short life to give you a chance to do what you created to do. Worship, but worship the Creator, not the creation. If you see it, it's not Allah. If you hear it, it's not Allah. If you feel it, smell it, taste it, imagine it with your mind, that is not Allah. It's what Allah has given you as experience, but that is not Allah. Even Quran is not Allah. Not creation, of course, but still Nobody really knows in this life even what Allah looks like. If you try to imagine that, you're way off. It's not what we do. The pictures that we have, or used to have in Christianity, of a big man and a little man and that kind of stuff, none of that is really valid for Muslims. We know that Allah is mighty and above and outside the creation. Worship Allah, the Creator, not what He created. Means the mistake that we had in Christianity, we were worshiping the man, Jesus, not the God that sent Jesus. Even though Jesus, alayhi salam, he has no father, doesn't make him God. You know why? Because if that's the case, then Eve is even more than Jesus. Because she had no mother. Nobody worshiping her, right? And Adam has no mother, no father. Nobody worshiping Adam. That's when it hits you. And that's when the guidance came to me. The light of Islam came at that moment. God, guide me. All the pieces came together at once. Click. And then I knew. I knew and I understood my purpose. Worship the Creator, not the creation. Exactly what happened. I went into the house. By the time it was Fajr, the priest, who is now Muslim, and the Muslim from Egypt, they're getting ready to pray the Fajr. I said, I need to join Islam. They gave me the Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. Then my wife came down and she had a scarf on her head and she said, I also need to accept Islam. Later my father accepted Islam. My daughters accepted Islam. Members of my family that were close to us, they accepted Islam. Alhamdulillah. Some never accepted Islam yet, but there's still hope. Still hope. But since then, I've seen priests accept Islam. Just 1.5 years ago, we had another priest from seminary. He entered Islam. Just a couple years ago, we had a bishop entered Islam. We've had pastors, ministers, scholars of the Bible enter into Islam. Some of them I traveled with them. Some of them I've been on the stage with them. And always the same thing I heard from them that I heard from others. It was not until they said in their heart, Allah or God or Dios, because we were in Mexico in different places, different language. Dios means God. Guide me. Guide me. And when we said this, anybody said this, Allah guide them. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. It's very amazing to see people enter into Islam. As a matter of fact, when my good friend, who also converted to Islam, and we went down to a place near South America on an island. And we watched 135 people on that island all stand up at the same time and accept Islam. 135. I thought that was amazing. A year later, I saw over 200 people in North Carolina do the same thing. Then in Florida, a few years after that, We saw over 350 people stand up at the same time and accepted Islam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The light that comes on. Yusha Evans was with us at that time. Siraj Rahaj was with us, and a number of others, and all of us telling our stories how we got to Islam, and then the whole audience stand up and accept Islam. But the biggest number I saw in the UAE, which, by the way, over 95% of the people living in UAE, in what's called Dubai. Dubai, the big city where Burj Khalifa, the tall building, you know. In that place, we had over 30,000 people stand up and say Shahada at the same time. So Islam is giving that chance for somebody to wake up to see what Islam really is, and if they want it, they accept it. If they don't, well, they can choose Taghut. It's their choice. But this was how I got to Islam. It's how others get to Islam. And all of us will have a responsibility to support the IPSI and the brothers that are doing this good work to help them shed this light out for everybody to accept the true way, the real way. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah, to Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Brothers and sisters, we now come to the question and answer session. Please queue at the microphones that are provided on both sides of the auditorium. Each person can only ask one question. Okay, the request is for written questions. So if you have any questions, please write it down and please pass it forward, related to the topic of tonight's discussion. And one question each, please. If anyone has any questions, we have our volunteers who are moving around in the jackets. Please get a piece of paper, ask questions. This is your opportunity.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the interest of time, and I'm sorry to do this, but I really do have to get out to get treatment for my throat. I asked brothers if we could just write everything down. It goes much faster this way, and we don't waste any time. Long question, long answer. No, just write it down and send it up. If you have a question, just raise your hand. The brothers will bring you some paper. Maybe they have pens. They'll help you and get the question up to us right away, because we only have a few minutes left. I don't want to waste your time or anybody else's, so please cooperate with us and we'll do our best to give you a best answer. And by the way, probably a lot of stuff I don't know, but we have other brothers here that can help us out with that.
Can we ask the question? Okay.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam rasulullah. Can you read it? I really...
Dear Sheikh Yusuf, Jazakallah khairan kasira. Thank you so much for willing to come all the way to Pulau Pinang, to Penang. It's an honor to have you here. I pray that Allah's rahmah will be always upon us. My question, the responsibility of inviting not yet Muslims into Islam is on our shoulders. To what extent do we need to go in order to fulfill this requirement? Thus, as exhibiting good manners as Allah wants us to suffice, or do we have to do like what Brother Hedi, the Deen Show, is doing, telling whoever he meets in the street about Islam, in order to comply with the requirement of inviting? I do sometimes tell my colleagues what Islam says regarding the matter we are discussing when I have the chance. Appreciate your thought.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, Alladhi Jalna Muslimin. This question is perfect because it addresses the real issue for all of us. After worshiping Allah alone without any partners, we know that, but what's next? Is it enough just to show my good manners? Well, definitely it helps. It's a big, big help. But knowing your religion is critical in Islam, both for your own benefit and the people around you. Every Muslim should know the basics of what Islam is really teaching. We know Shahadatain, Salawatul Khams, Saum Ramadan, Zakatul Mal, wa Hajj fi Baytullah. These are the 5 pillars of Islam. We also should know what are the 6 pillars of Iman. Iman billah, wa malaikatihi, wa kutubihi, wa rasulih, wa yawmul akhir, wa qadratullah. These are the 6 pillars of faith. But what about the rest of the life? There's so much that we really are ignoring. Many of the Muslims don't even know how to read Arabic of the Quran. Today, we have more Muslims who don't know Arabic at all. They just rely on English or some other language to try to understand. Some can read the Quran very well, but still don't understand what does it mean. We have several hundred Muslims here right now in a Muslim country. One of the, I should mention this, one of the best Muslim countries in the world, right here, Malaysia. But I wonder if 50% or 40% or even 30% can tell you what does it mean. A very important part of Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والله أمان أهل الكتاب لكان خيرا لهم منهم المؤمنون وأكثرهم الفاسقون. How many know the meaning of that one? MashaAllah. 10 people? Sisters, how many know the meaning? 1? 2? Not even 20 people out of the whole crew. And this is a Muslim country And Muslims here are memorizing Quran? Now let me ask you this. How many have memorized at least Juz Amma? So if you even know Juz Amma, raise your hand. Maybe 50? MashaAllah, that's good. But I think probably everybody in here memorized Fatiha in Ikhlas, right? Yeah, there we go. Still didn't get 100%. Whoa, let me try that again. Let's try that again. We'll go the other way, because some of you don't like to put your hand up, I know that. So raise your hand if you don't know Surah Fatiha. Okay, that's better. It's just, I see what it is. Some of you got broken arms. All right, that's okay now. I feel better knowing that. So this is a critical thing to know what our religion teaches. Because if somebody came up to you and they started giving you these really harsh questions attacking Islam, what would you say? They expect you to know, especially if you say you know how to read the Quran. How many of you know the meaning when Allah is saying, وَضْرِبْهُنَّ? Raise your hand. You know the meaning? وَضْرِبْهُنَّ. Now, keep your hand up if you're willing to come up on the stage and tell us the meaning. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Because it does not mean beat your wives. It doesn't mean that. But how would you explain it? I'll give you another one, very important one that a lot of people try to attack Islam over. And this one is in Surah Baqarah, very clear. وَاقْتُلُهُمْ. Now don't raise your hand unless you know the tafsir of the meaning of وَاقْتُلُهُمْ. You know the meaning? Really? Uh-huh. Keep your hand up if you think it means kill. Lots of luck. Lots of luck. The better translation is combat. Combat, not slaughter. Slaughter from the English language translates back to Arabic as dhabiha, cutting the neck. So if you didn't know, and the majority of the people here didn't put up any hands, what I'm saying, this is a very serious problem. How can I get the knowledge? There are many teachers, imams, that we have right here in Malaysia, happy to have students to come and learn. But the problem is, Shaitan is keeping us too busy with social media, Facebook. Huh? Now let me be honest now. Allah going to ask you, before you put your hand up, how many really you do have a Facebook account? Put your hand up. Come on. Way up. That's more people than raise their hand for Surah Fatiha. Text messages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. How many of you have Twitter? Anybody have Twitter? How else are you going to keep up with Donald Trump? It's important to know everything about Donald Trump, isn't it? how he combs his hair. SubhanAllah. So this is where the real problem comes. Now you can see it. We don't spend enough time with Allah, His book, His messenger, and the message, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There are some, and I don't want to sell this short because obviously we have brothers that are on the team, brothers over here. I've seen you raise your hand. I know you know what you're doing. That's great. Sisters over here, don't think I'm trying to put that down. I'm just trying to emphasize to the rest of us how much we need to work on getting closer to Islam. Let me mention, this is a very long answer, I know that, but this is the critical story. The brother who sent this up really hit the nerve. This is the critical story. Because the shaitan is working harder today than ever before. He knows his time is running out. Shaitan is trying in every possible way to take people away from Islam, out of Islam, and even attack Islam from the inside. Even dividing the Muslims against the Muslims. Even attacking the scholars of Islam. And this is a big sign of where we are today. Please, brothers and sisters, don't fall asleep tonight without the recognition of what we need to do tomorrow. To worship the Creator, not the creation. I'll end it with that, and I really thank you for a good question and the reality of where we're at today. Thank you so much.
All right, this question goes, if Allah doesn't force you to worship Him, and you were given the choice to choose who to worship, so why would it be a sin to worship something other than Allah?
This question, it appears that you're asking me to give I'm sure you know the answer to that one. As a Muslim, it's very clear. When you say if Allah doesn't force you to worship Him, why is it a sin to worship something else? Allah created you to worship. And you choose what you want to worship. If He forced you, then it wouldn't be worship. It would just be enforced. True worship has to come with sincerity. Let's break it down. Do we have any guests that are not Muslim with us tonight? Anybody? Please, raise your hand. Huh? Is anybody here not Muslim yet? Huh? Oh, 2, 3? MashaAllah. How about the brother's side? Have any here? Huh? My problem is I'm not wearing the right glasses. By the way, I don't really need glasses except to see. You got that right? All right. Anyhow, so for the benefit of the non-Muslims or the benefit of those who are Muslim but you don't know how to explain it to a non-Muslim, let's look at what Islam is. Is it possible to have Islamic terrorism? Is it possible to have Muslim extremists? Is it possible to have Muslim killers, murderers? Is it possible? You said no, but do you have a proof? The proof is in the Word. Is it possible to have a really hot, cold day? Is it possible to have a really dark, light night? These are opposites. If it's an opposite, then there's no way. You're wasting your time to say it. It's called oxymoron. An oxymoron, it means you just gave two different words, the opposite meaning, in the same sentence. Like a hot ice cube. A hot ice cube will melt and it won't even be an ice cube anymore. It doesn't make any sense. I'll give you another one. Government intelligence. Huh? Anyway, listen to the meaning of the word from the Arabic language, sin, lam, mim, silm. Everything that I'm going to tell you is based on this root. In English, you don't do that. In English, you have crazy stuff that comes from different things. You say school, pupil, teacher, classroom. All of these things are from different roots, different languages. In Arabic, you start with the same root, madrasa, mudaras. And you go through and you'll find that everything is related to this root, so that you know. And when you talk about a library, an office, a place where you keep books, library, office, and books, these words are not related. But in Arabic, kitab, book, kutub, books. Maktaba, office or library. You see how it works? Now, the root, silm, is where all of this is coming from. There's a verb, one of the many verbs coming from this is aslama. Aslama, in English language, there's no translation unless you give a paragraph, because it has too much meaning. It is, watch closely, surrender. You got to help me with this one. Surrender, so put your hands up. Are you deaf? Put your hands up. All the way up. Now cross them like this. You don't want to play the game? Put your hands up. Now come on. Now you're ready for airport security. So you gave up. Our brother gave a good example. He finally gave up. And that's part of silm. You have to give up. It's not you in control anymore. You're saying, okay, you take control of me. This is silm, aslama. Total surrender to Allah. First word. But there's more in this word aslama. Look at this. In English, surrender, submission, obedience. All of that is there. More. Also, sincerity. You voluntarily give up your own control over to Allah. Then, after sincerity, is safety and security. A big issue today in the world when people say security, right? Airport, security. Police, security. We have to have security. Safety. Safety first. Safety, security. These are all part of Islam. Because there's no salam without salama. There is no peace without safety. Nobody is going to be in safety and security without Allah's safety and security and protection. This makes sense. It's Allah's creation. He can prevent things from happening to you. Maybe an earthquake is going to swallow the whole city, and if there's only one place left that didn't get swallowed, you're on it. Why? Allah didn't want it to happen to you. How about this? Can you imagine billions and billions of tons of water rushing by in a huge sea, the Red Sea, and you're going to walk right through it and water will not even touch your feet? Could that happen? It already did at the time of Musa alayhi salam. The children of Israel walked on dry land. I don't know if you know that. They walked on dry land across the Red Sea while the sea was parted back. And when Pharaoh went through with his army, Allah closed the water in on them. It's easy for Allah? This is all part of the word Islam. Surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, safety and security, and peace with Allah. No matter what happens, you'll be in peace with Allah. Now, that's the word Islam. So how could you have terrorist Islam if it's supposed to be safety, security, and peace? That's the problem. People not knowing how to translate this word. Otherwise, the people in the news and the media, they could never say it. They could not say a Muslim terrorist, because Muslim comes from Islam. Islama is surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, safety, security, and peace. And you put mu in front of it to show you the one who's doing that. Muslim terrorist. It's a joke. It's upside down. Islamic terrorism. It's upside down. It doesn't work. How you come up with this stuff? Because Muslims didn't do their job. 2 billion people on the earth, and not even 50 out of the 2 billion willing to go out and stand up for La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and with the proper knowledge to explain it in the English language. That's how critical the issue is today. And I want, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. If we live among non-Muslim in our neighborhood, is it necessary for us to preach to them? I have a few friends on the borderline of atheism. How do I approach them? Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I want to ask you about what is your feeling towards the situation of Islam nowadays, and what is your obsession in order to spread Islam?
All of these questions are related. All of these questions, the same source, the same core, because all of us should be concerned about this issue. How do you treat non-Muslims to get to Islam? How do you deal with a person who's almost an atheist leaving Islam? And what is our position on all of this? There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that makes it clear. This hadith in the books of hadith is in the section talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. The section dealing with the last days. The sections that are telling us what to expect, when is the hour. Is there anybody in this room who doesn't realize that we're getting closer and closer and closer to that very last day? The reality is, the Prophet ﷺ told us 1,400 years ago what was going to happen. And he told us the signs, and one of the biggest signs he said, in the end, there will be no more religions. There will just be Iman and Kufr. How many of you didn't know that? Raise your hand. You didn't know it. You never heard that hadith before. Be honest. You didn't know it. How many of you did know it? You knew this hadith. So far, not even half the room raised their hand, so it means either you don't know English or you fell asleep. The hadith is in front of our eyes, brothers and sisters, whether you recognize it or not, whether you believe it or not. It's a Sahih hadith. But listen carefully. Is Islam the fastest growing religion in the world? Yes. Is there any doubt? No. Madeleine Albright, when she was Secretary of the State, she said Islam is the fastest growing religion. 1 in 4 people, 25% of the world's population, are Muslim. That was then. Since then, many, many, many people came to Islam. Christians, the churches are empty. Many churches are empty all week, and then on Sunday they just have a few people that show up. Churches in America and the UK are for sale. Some of these churches are turned into places that sell alcohol, dancing, that kind of stuff, businesses. One big church turned into a mini mall. Many of the Jews are no longer going to their temples on Saturdays. Many of them becoming atheists, Zionists. From the Hindus and the Buddhists, many of them claim to be, but they don't follow their religion. How can you be something but you don't do anything about it? Suppose somebody tell you they're American, but they've never been to America. They don't have any passport that says America on it. How is he American? The fastest growing group on the earth today for religion is Islam. Alhamdulillah. But wait a minute. When I visited Sweden in the year 2000, they told me that they were #1 in some categories. They said we were the last ones to accept Christianity and the first to kick them out. They're proud that they are leaving Christianity. They said that. And they said we're #1 in the world for suicide and #1 for atheists. When I visited Denmark, they told me we're #1 in the world for atheists and #1 for suicide. I told them they should go visit their neighbor in Sweden because it looked like you're both claiming the same thing. When I visited Norway, they said it. Finland, they said it. #1 for atheists, #1 for suicide. Are you starting to see the correlation here? What's the correlation? Atheism, suicide. Atheism, no God, kill yourself. Who is talking to these people? No God, kill yourself. No God, kill yourself. Anybody kills themselves, according to Jewish religion, according to Christian religion, according to Islam, whoever kills themselves is in the hellfire forever. Is that true? Makes you wonder how somebody could say in Christianity that Jesus is the God, but the God killed himself. Oops. So now the God is in the hellfire forever? It doesn't work, does it? You need to go back and look at it again. Think about it. For sure, Islam is not the number one growing group in the world. Atheism is the number one growing group. Any Muslim who even thinks about going to atheism is only proving that Islam is true, because that is exactly what Shaitan wants Muslims to do. And this was predicted 1400 years ago. Stop and think what you're saying. Stop and think what you're doing. If you're thinking about something like that, it's Shaitan talking to you. What is atheism? What is it? Atheism is the word that doesn't make any sense. Theism, in case you don't know English, theism is the belief in something. When you say it like that, means without any belief. Gnostic is to know. Agnostic means I don't know. If you have no belief in anything, this is kind of like somebody that's brain is not working anymore. If you ask the person, what about evolution? They'll say yes. Big Bang, yes. Do you believe everything came out of nothing? Yes. You believe in the evolution from monkey to human? Yes. But I thought you said you're an atheist. Yes. But you already believe in something, so you're not an atheist anymore. You're believing in something without proof. There is no genetic connection between a human being and a monkey. If it was, then why, when somebody gets burned really bad, do they go to the farm and get a pig and take the skin from a pig and put it on a human being, instead of going to the zoo and getting a monkey and putting the skin from the monkey on there? Anybody here a doctor, medical, nurse? Huh? Is that true? Did we go and get monkeys or pigs for skin? Do you know anything about the heart? If somebody has a heart operation, they replace a valve, they get an orangutan valve or pig?
Yes, what Sheikh says is true. Medically, we find more similarities in pig compared to monkeys. So scientifically, theory of evolution can be questioned. Scientifically.
I'm not as smart as him. I'm not a doctor. In fact, where's Irfan? I was looking for him a little while ago. Where's Irfan? Where's he at? Is he outside? My friend, is he 10 or 11? 10 years old? My new friend could probably answer the question the way I would understand it. Because a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, these guys, they have an insight to reality that we need to appreciate. When a little 5-year-old girl goes with her father to the zoo, and she's looking at the monkey house, you know, where they have all the different monkeys, orangutans, chimpanzees, gorillas, macaque monkeys, spider monkeys, squirrel monkeys. They've got all these kinds of monkeys. And she's looking at this little picture showing these kind of monkeys that grow up to become a human being. You seen that picture? There's my friend Irfan. Send him down here. But when she's looking at this picture, she looks at her daddy and she said, "Daddy, if human beings evolved from monkeys, why do we still have all these monkeys?" Is that a good question? They didn't evolve yet? Oops. It means, come on up. Come on. Come on over here. This is my new friend, Irfan. Say salam alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Irfan, tell everybody how old you are.
I am standard 4.
Your age. How old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
10 years old? Okay. We've been talking about monkeys and human beings. Did you ever see monkeys?
Yes, I see.
Lots of monkeys?
Yes.
Big monkeys?
No.
Little monkeys?
Yes.
Lots of monkeys. Okay. When you look at a monkey, they got hair all over them, right?
Yes.
Lots of hair.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
But no clothes.
No.
Is that true? Did you know that the oldest human skeleton that they ever found, the oldest representation of humanoid, didn't have all that hair all over it? Do you know that? You ever thought about that? What happened to the hair? Never thought about it, huh? Also, if you look at this study, the real study, you find that the connection that they try to make between a human being and a monkey actually is fake. Piltdown Man, Nebraska Man, have proven to be absolutely false representations. Scientists could not prove it, so they fabricated it. Go to Sheikh Google. Yeah. Go to the Google and type in Piltdown Man in UK. Piltdown. Piltdown. And you'll find the whole story. Type in Nebraska Man, because they found a link in Nebraska. And they made a big deal out of this find that to prove that the monkey, sorry about that, the monkey became a man. You know what it was? They said this is absolute proof. It was one tooth. It was a tooth. That's all. But the place in the museum had all kinds of drawings and pictures to show you this, and it showed two, looks like a man and a woman monkey with a little baby monkey, just about the size of this guy right here. A tooth. It was there for 20 years before somebody from New England was there in the museum and said, that looks like a tooth that I saw in another place in New England. They compared it and they found out it's the tooth, not of a human being, but not of a monkey. A wild hog, a pig. Oops. I wonder if anybody would try to, from the evidence we gave tonight, from the skin of the pig, the heart of the pig, and the tooth of the pig, what if you said that human beings came from pigs? You got more evidence for that than you do anything else. So before you buy into Shaitan's deal, think hard. Because did you ever hear of somebody called Stephen Hawking?
No.
How many have heard of Stephen Hawking? Put your hand up. He's a man in a wheelchair. He couldn't talk anymore. He had a disease. And in his wheelchair, he had a way to communicate through a computer, and we could hear the computer talking. It represented his voice. And he was on a stage just like this one time, and the subject was, where did everything come from? Now, he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in anything except, quote-unquote, fabricated science. I have to say that because we just know that so far everything they showed us is fabricated. So, fabricated science, how did everything come about? Where did it come from? Where did the universe come from? So that's his subject. In his subject, he talked about how this came from this, and evolved from that, this twirled around that, this so-and-so. The earth had blue-green algae all around it, and then something had to come along and eat it, so amoeboids started to eat the blue-green algae. And then something else bigger than that started eating those amoeboids, and then something bigger ate those things. And it got bigger and bigger until finally human beings are eating up everything else. I'm shortening it a little bit for you, you know, but that's basically. And then when it was over, they did exactly what we did tonight. They said, we're going to do questions and answers. But the lady that was introducing him, she said, I want to ask the first question. The title of the subject is, where did everything originate from? You told us all of this progression, but you didn't tell us where did it come from. So where did it come from? Look what he said. He said the universe can create itself wherever it wants to. You know what's wrong with that? Atheists never use the word create. Never. They say evolve. Oh, and the second thing, if you say it wants to do something, that implies intelligence, yes or no? If it has intelligence and it is wanting to do something, that sounds a lot like a god to me. What do you think? In fact, we know some names related to that. A creator in Arabic is called Al-Khaliq. The creation is called Makhluk. And the whole matter is this. Worship Al-Khaliq, not Makhluk. Worship the creator, not the creation. What do you think of that idea?
That's good.
10 years old. We didn't set this up. He didn't even know he was going to be on the stage, did you? You didn't know that? Okay. Okay. Go back to Abu Irfan. MashaAllah. So proud of this guy. I want you to make dua for him and for his father because they are good volunteers with the organization IPSI, and they are doing something really amazing. And then that young man 10 years from now, next time I come back, 10 years from now, I want to see this guy up here doing some of this work, okay? So let's make dua for all of our youth, and Allah guide them and make them strong in this deen. Where are we at now? How far are we getting this?
All right. Probably, inshallah, the last question. Adam did a mistake in heaven. He ate the forbidden fruit. and he was sent down to earth. The question is, why all of us Muslims have to bear the blame of staying on earth and not heaven? Shouldn't a person bear his own wrong deed?
That's a very good question, but you're making it sound a lot like the Bible. Because according to the Bible, it's the Bible story you're talking about, not Islam. The Bible says that Adam and Eve ate the fruit, and because they ate the fruit, actually it says because Eve made him eat the fruit, she has the curse forever. And in her childbirth and labor and her monthly cycle, all this is curse on her for what she did. Blaming her, and she made Adam eat the fruit. And then all of the generations, unto the 10th generation, being cursed by Allah. That's what the Bible said. That's not the story we have from Islam. Allah created Adam and Eve. He put them in the Jannah to start with, but listen carefully. He ordered them not to approach the tree. He didn't say don't eat the fruit. He said don't even approach it. The shaitan was allowed, you have to read the whole story. The shaitan existed before Adam. And he was elevated to a very high level. So high that he thought he was better than everybody else. So high that he was actually beside the malaika, the angels, although he was not an angel. So when Allah ordered all the creation of the angels bow down, they did. They bowed down because of the creation of Adam. Shaitan said, no, I'm not bowing down. He refused to bow down. The shaitan, because he said, I'm better than him. Now he knew that he would go to hell forever if he didn't bow down. But he wouldn't repent. Instead, he made dua. Who? Shaitan made dua to Allah. Does he know that Allah exists? Yeah, even the devil knows that. And he's the one trying to get people not to believe in Allah. But he knows there's Allah. Because he asked Allah, let me live on the earth long enough to take Adam and his children to hell with me. He said it. And Allah granted his dua. Go ahead. Try it. But you'll never take the true believers. Only those who want to choose the wrong way. Have fun. And he didn't say have fun. That's Texas translation, okay? You know that, right? I have to say that because sometimes people will quote me on the internet and say, he said this and that. They don't realize where I come from. This is part of how you communicate. But for sure, all of this was known to Allah before he started. Would it be fair that there's a hellfire in heaven and Allah just grabs some people and throw them into hell and some people into heaven? Would that be fair? No. And Allah is fair. What he did, he created human beings and he made all of us want to worship something. Everybody worships something. Nobody is exempt. If you said, well, what about atheists? They are the ones who worship the most, but the wrong way. Because they're willing to believe anything as long as it's not the truth. They are willing to make up and fabricate stuff in their head just so they don't have to believe La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. And they will argue, they will get huge education in stupidness to get to the point where they will think you're dumb and they're better than you. Sound familiar, huh? Maybe I'm not too smart. Maybe I don't have big degrees. Maybe I don't have big money. Maybe I'm not from some fancy country. Maybe I'm from some small island out in the middle of nowhere. But I believe La ilaha illallah. And that's enough to go to Jannah if I act on that. Is that true or false? So in the reality of things, it's not about your intelligence. It's not about what you have. It's not about how famous you are or how many people look up to you. In fact, that is a part of your own worship. You are worshiping yourself. When you do that, you become the object of your own affection. You love yourself so much, and you keep telling yourself, I'm better than this one, I'm better than that one, I'm better than this one. And when you do it, you just joined the club of Shaitan. Because he said, I'm better than him, and I won't bow down. Be very careful about this, brothers and sisters, because he is talking to every one of us every day about that subject. Better. Before I end this is our last one, I want to mention again the Arabic language. In the Arabic language, the word that Allah uses is kibr. Kibr. The people of kibr translates as arrogant, thinking they're better than somebody else. Why is that a big deal to Allah? Kibr is from what root? Ka-ba-ra. Khabar. 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 Akbar. Akbar. Who is Akbar? Allahu Akbar. The greatest. Better than anything is Allah. So when a human being has kibr, he's making a partner with Allah by saying that he's better than something else. Think about it. Because that's the shirk mentioned in ayah number 48 in chapter 4 of the Quran, Surah An-Nisa. Allah said he does not forgive kibr. And that's exactly what these people have. So this, we'll wind it up by saying, if you want to avoid this kibr, realize that Allah is greater than everything, and you're nothing except what Allah created. Make the right choice. Worship Allah alone without partners. Share that message with others. If they accept it, alhamdulillah. If they don't, get away from them before they infect you and your family with it. That's my advice. Inshallah. Now, I want to turn the program over to Karamuddin. He's the real guy that brought me here. And all of you, I just love you so much for the sake of Allah. I'd like for him to give a chance for our non-Muslims or somebody maybe you never made your shahada. Maybe you didn't do that yet. Maybe you've been praying and fasting, but you never had a chance to do the first most important thing, sign up. Don't be so arrogant that you won't sign up for the job that you're doing every day. And I'll let him talk to you about that. Karamuddin.
It's an honor and pleasure from you, Sheikh. I feel humbled. Any Muslim, non-Muslim brothers and sisters here who wish to accept peace, to accept there's one God and Prophet Muhammad, the last messenger of God, you're most welcome in front of the mic and make your testimony, and Sheikh will recite together the Shahada. Is there any non-Muslim brothers and sisters under no obligation, under no compulsion? Is there anybody? Raise your hand. We do not know that we will meet tomorrow or wake up tomorrow morning. Who's that? So Muslims who like to read Shahadat, you can do so.
I'm going to ask you a question. Is it okay if they could just stand up where they're at and do that, or do they have to go to the mic?
They can stand where they are.
Can I just do it too?
Yes.
All right. Can we, I noticed that you guys are hesitant about jumping up and down to get something good. I don't know why. But can we do it this way? Instead of raising your hands, instead of standing up, if you don't want to be a Muslim, stay in your chair. Oh, I feel better. MashaAllah, I notice that some of the folks that weren't Muslim are now standing up with us. You know why? Brothers, sisters, I want you to listen carefully. Shaitan tries to keep the people from saying this. There's a hadith of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he was riding his animal with a young boy behind him on the same animal. His name was Mu'adh bin Jabal. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya Mu'adh. Mu'adh said, Labayk wa Sadiq. I'm here at your service. Ya Mu'adh, Labayk wa Sadiq. Ya Mu'adh, Labayk wa Sadiq. He said it like this several times to be short. And Mu'adh is saying, I'm listening. Go ahead. He said, do you know that if somebody said La ilaha illallah with sincerity, even the weight of such and such kind of a seed, the fire of hell is forbidden to them. And then he mentioned another kind of seed that's a little bit smaller, and he said, even that seed. And he kept saying this seed and this seed down to the tiniest little called mustard seed. A mustard seed is hard to see it. This mustard seed mentioned in the Bible as well, this grain looked like a grain of sand. If you have this much belief in La ilaha illallah and you say it, fire is forbidden to you. But then, and a lot of people don't know about this because many of the Sahabi didn't say the rest of it, but some, including Omar, radiallahu anhu, did say the rest. Even if somebody said it, even if somebody said it, the fire forbidden to them. Shaitan does not want anybody to say it, ever. So when you stand up like this and encourage others to do the same thing, maybe Allah is going to accept from them and you. Because why he said, shouldn't I tell the people? Rasul said, you don't have to tell them this part because I'm afraid they'll rely on that and not do any of the rest of the things. So whenever you leave here tonight, if you're accepting Islam first time, be sure to hook up with some of the Muslims, especially at IPSI, because they have the books, they have the material, they have the brothers and sisters there volunteering. I went there today, amazing work. Please do that. Spend some time and learn the deen. If you're a Muslim, you know about the work, but you didn't do it before, visit it's right in the old minaret, right by the masjid. I think everybody knows where it's at. Go there, spend some time, get some of the books. You got free books? I love that free stuff. Muslims love free stuff. You got any food over there? You got free food and free books? I'm sure everybody want to go now. Alhamdulillah for that. if we could get you to do the Shahada, I appreciate if we do the local language first, and then I think we'll get somebody that knows English pretty good over here, and then I'll stagger through the Arabic. Can we do it that way? Okay.
Saya naik saksi tiada Tuhan layak disembah melainkan Allah. Saya naik saksi bahwa Nabi Muhammad adalah pesuruh Allah.
Hey, I said it. I just realized. Okay.
I bear witness there's no God worthy of worship except Allah. I bear witness Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of God.
وفي اللغة العربية أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
Jazakallah Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Brothers and sisters, this is a lifetime opportunity. We've met here tonight, we've listened to Sheikh. You have an opportunity tomorrow. Sheikh will be with us at 3 o'clock at the IPSI building. Please register at the counters outside to be with him, limited spaces. So register early, come and ask your questions, be with him, and we can have more sessions tomorrow. And please, these programs that we bring to you with international speakers is due to your kind donations. IPSI runs purely as a non-government organization, solely dependent on donations. So therefore, please donate for your well-being in the hereafter. The only things that you take with you is the good deeds and the charities that you give in the way of Allah. And with this, brothers and sisters, before we end the session, as a token of appreciation to our Sheikh, I would like to invite the patron of IPSI, Tan Sri, Dato Sri, Muhammad Yusuf Latif, to come front at the stage, accompanied by our President Tuan Haji Kamaruddin Abdullah. And now, Tuan Haji Kamaruddin Abdullah to present a token of appreciation to Tan Sri, Dato Sri, Muhammad Yusuf Latif. Thank you, Tan Sri, Tuan Haji Kamaruddin, and Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Brothers and sisters, all good things must come to an end. Inshallah, make dua for the health of Sheikh Yusuf Estes. Please contribute and help in spreading the peace and the true word. Even your moral support goes a long way. What more if you are physically present and also financially you are capable of helping? Inshallah, Allah will give you more. What better loan than the loan to help in the way of Allah? Inshallah. And we end with Tasbih Kifarah in Surah Al-Asr. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walas innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.